In the event that you would need to change oils or possibly just flush out any contaminants that might be in your oil tank, we would simply remove the 4 mounting bolts from the oil tank so that it'll lean forward a little bit and give us some room to work. Now once the bolts are out, we recommend that you take a couple of rags and just kind of set those down inside in case we do have any oil that might leak out. Now what we're going to do is remove our return line and the line from the valve to the oil tip itself. Now once those are out, we're going to unplug the hose that goes to the inline filter, and what we're going to use to plug that back up, because the tank is full, is one of the oil fill plugs. Once we have put one of the plugs inside the inline filter, we should not have any leaks anywhere. We're then going to remove the vent hose, and the tank should pull out of the machine. Alright, now that the tank's out of the lane machine, we're going to take a large funnel and any type of jug that you're going to use for waste, and we're going to simply pop out the bottom of this sight glass, tip the tank at an angle to drain all of the oil out. Now since we have one of the oil plugs removed, that's going to act as our vent. And we'll just simply put it in an angle to let that oil drain out of there. Once all the oil is out of the tank, we're then going to plug the sight glass back in, fill the top of the tank back up, maybe not completely full, but at least half full with isopropyl alcohol, denatured alcohol, or rubbing alcohol. Then we want to shake that tank vigorously, make sure we've gotten all the oil off of the walls, and we can fill it back up with oil and then flush out our lines. Before reinstalling the oil tank, let's take an opportunity to wipe this area down and get rid of any drips or leaks that we might have had when removing the tank, or any dirt or dust that might have built up there. Now we're going to simply lay the tank right back in there, and it's going to rest on your lane distance shaft. From that point, we're going to go ahead and plug in the vent valve hose. We're also going to remove the oil tank plug that we had used to stop up the inline filter and plug that back in to the appropriate hose there. I'd like to start the top 2 bolts just to kind of hold that tank in place until we finish up everything. I'm just going to put a nut, lock washer, and a flat washer on the one side. Then we're going to reconnect our hose from the valve to the oil tip assembly and to the return line. Double check all the connections to make sure everything is locked in, and we can replace the rest of our hardware. Now from that point, we would refill the oil tank, and we want to bleed out the oil lines to get the old oil out of there. So actually, we would disconnect the return line from the control valve to the oil tank on the other side of the reducer fitting. You could then get a piece of hose out of your accessory kit, install that in the fitting, and run that into an overflow jug. At that point, you would access your oil pump motor through your test outputs and run the pump for about 3 to 4 minutes to make sure that you've completely flushed the lines.